Welcome to Carlisle on the last day of February 2026. My regular followers will know only too well the problems I've had for a long time now with my Panasonic cameras. Last week I bit the bullet and spent a frightening amount of money on a new camera and separate lens. An external microphone is still to come. Today is the first time in use, so, as you may imagine, I'm very much looking forward to trying it out. Although with a totally different layout and controls, I'm not expecting everything to go smoothly. I've already encountered problems, since Sony record video files in a format which Windows 11 can't read, and then store them in a file which even the dealers couldn't locate. With a handbook that runs to 660 pages, it eventually proved quicker to go online in search of answers, and now I can find and use the material which I film. The next problem was that, even within the confines of Citadel Station on a dull day, the viewing screen of the camera was so dark that I could barely see what I was doing. Much time was spent trawling through its menu to find the answer. As the old song says, there may be trouble ahead. Aviation fuel empties from Prestwick, the Scottish airport situated on the Clyde coast and the most fog-free airport in Britain, returning to the grain oil terminal in the Thames estuary. The Class 90s were built between 1987 and 1990, based on the earlier Class 87s, with improvements and a different body shape, which led to their being nicknamed Skodas after the Czech motor car. Younger viewers may not be aware that after the Second World War, Czechoslovakia became part of the Communist Soviet Union. By the 1980s, Skoda cars were seriously outdated, but very cheap to buy. The name Skoda became synonymous with cheap and cheerful. After the fall of the Soviet Union, Volkswagen took over control of Skoda, and the quality of its vehicles improved greatly. A civil engineers train arriving from Doncaster via the Tyne Valley and heading for the yard at Kingmore. But this is what we're here to see, and it's brought out the crowds. The Winter Cumbrian Mountain Express from London, hauled by 45407, the Lancashire Fusilier. It's quite a while since we saw the Fusilier here, not a frequent visitor. A frantic dash before the crowds surround the local. Will I make it?
Thank you.
Now the weather has turned against us, and it's raining heavily. I had planned to film at an outdoor location this afternoon, as there's another charter running which will skirt Carlisle, but not come into the Citadel. I think I may have to forget that one. Ah, a maneuver which used to be the standard, but has become rare lately, separating the loco and support coach from the train and sending them down to Upperby for servicing, leaving the passenger stock in the station. I'm assuming that the Fusilier will run down the middle road just as soon as this freight train has cleared. I see steam approaching, but it looks as though my assumption was wrong. They're taking her down track A behind the passenger stock.
It's a horrible feeling to put her through.
A quick dash down platform 3 to catch her exit. But she doesn't appear. She's been held way back out of sight. And here she sits for quite a time, while various Avanti and Transpennine services occupy the main line. By now the weather's easing. I'm joined by Simon Eastley up from Derbyshire and by young Sam Harrison, Train Spotting Sam on YouTube, who's anxious to try out his new drone on a moving steam train. They accept my suggestion of London Road Junction a mile or so's walk, and off we head. Eden, another young regular enthusiast, turned up and joined us. We hadn't had time to get the drones ready when the Settlement Carlisle circular from Appleby to Nottingham appeared, topped by the somewhat uninspiringly named Crewe Diesel Depot, and tailed by the rather more romantically titled Galloway Princess.
I'll bring it to it. Oh, ran now. Probably got this bit until.
With a little time to wait for the Mountain Express, both drones were prepared, agreement was reached on the heights at which each would fly to avoid any risk of collision, and as time was reached, we launched. I pressed my record button before launching. What happened, I don't know, but having followed the train from the station, I only discovered as it actually passed us that I wasn't recording. Young Sam got some excellent footage. He's going to put me out of business. Just before it reached us, the train came to a halt. I've no idea why. I should have had it on aerial film, but
Hang on, she's moving.
Is it?
She's moving.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Peteril Bridge Junction and the turn-off to the Settle and Carlisle line, with its glorious scenery, if the weather holds.
It's turning on to onto the Citadel and Carlisle now.
The waste ground in front of us was occupied by extensive sidings of the North Eastern Railway, whilst the industrial area to the right of the train held similarly extensive sidings of the Midland Railway, as well as a Midland engine shed. That's only 2 railways. 7 operated in Carlisle before 1923. Those who have grown up after the 1960s can have no idea of the huge areas occupied by the railway in the days before road motor traffic took over. As the train heads towards Eastern Way, my plan on returning to the Citadel was to get some film of the newly opened Scott and Brassey Bar on Platform 4, named after the author Sir Walter Scott and Thomas Brassey, who oversaw the construction of the Lancaster and Carlisle Railway in the 1840s. Unfortunately, the place was so crowded that filming was impossible, and the only seat we could find to enjoy a pint of their excellent ale was outside on the platform. Another day, perhaps.
Train spotting sound.
Train spotting sound. Let's look for it. I'll be very intrigued.
Well, she's down to the Eastern Way. Big signal messages. All the buildings around here. And of course, radio, television, police, ambulance, fire brigade, all that stuff.
Train spotting sound, did you say?
Yeah.
I'll give you a look. I'll give you a follow. I'll subscribe.
What's your surname, sir?
Alison.
Sorry?
Alison.
Is that all one word, is it?
subscribe to both of you when I get home, but I'm not signed in on
What's
YouTube.
that?
I'm not signed in on YouTube on this phone, so I can't subscribe right now, but I will when I get home.
As the Mountain Express disappears towards the Pennines and the 1435 Northern train to Middlesbrough via Newcastle on the Durham coast heads east,
They're working.
apologies for the hiccups. Thank you for joining me and my friends today, and here's to the next time.